Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Season 3, Episode 7, Vision Quest. This is the episode I've been waiting for a very long time. I was really excited. I think I found out about the whole, sort of alternate costume type things either by the time the last episode came around or the one before that. But this was a really, really cool episode. Getting to see the turtles kind of break apart and really get into nature and realize kind of their weaknesses and gain new strengths and stuff. And new costumes were really cool, and how they use like different weapons. In some cases, at least, they use different weapons, and it was really sweet. I really loved this episode. We got to see them like officially show off like the spirit realm and stuff like that in this version of the series. So that was really cool. They're getting into some of the really deep lore of the Ninja Turtles franchise, which I really love. That stuff I think is always really cool because I think that's the big thing that people don't know about the Ninja Turtles is that they have a ton of the like interdimensional stuff, and there's a ton of like spirit realm type things. It's not just, hey, let's fight Shredder and then that's that's the whole series. So there's a lot of real serious detail that's always kind of lost, like way deep into a franchise and stuff like that. And even with like the old TMNT show, I don't think they get into like the spirit stuff really until like season like 4 or 5, and I think that was spread out even more than this show was. Although I guess with the episodes it probably kind of balances out, because once again we had to wait a long time to get this episode. But fortunately, the next 2 episodes are going to be coming in the next 2 weeks. Next week is going to be Return to New York, so I'm incredibly excited for that. I don't know how long they're going to keep these kind of alternate costumes. They might do it for the rest of this season. Of course, they'll switch back at some point. But I love the costumes. I love the weapons. Like Raphael with like the little like claws are definitely pretty cool, and how he had like them enveloped in fire and stuff was definitely really sweet. Leo, like using the bow and arrow and stuff was pretty cool. Michelangelo's was probably the closest because he has like the little blade that comes out of his nunchaku when he like hits the little button. So his were probably the closest, but they weren't like tied together, so they were very different, and his was really cool. I think my favorite move of his was when he was jumping through the trees and he used it kind of like upside down to hook himself onto the tree. It looked really cool to me. And then we had Donatello, who kind of had like just sort of a battle axe type of thing, which I thought was really interesting for his character. But that was kind of the point, was for him to kind of leave behind the sort of just the brain element of him, and kind of strengthen the brute force side of his personality. So that was actually really cool. They all the different things really fit the characters. They all fought like big members of the Foot Clan, leading all the way up to Shredder, and I thought that was really cool. Everyone kind of fought their rival and stuff. And I kind of wish Leo fought Tiger Claw, because I feel like their rivals more. But obviously Leo being the leader of the group, he of course he has to fight Shredder, so that made perfect sense. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was definitely a great episode. It would have been cool to see a little bit more of April training, actually. We got that like in the beginning and the very end of the episode. And she did technically advance. She was able to punch the break and not just kick Casey in the head and knock him to the ground. So technically she did advance in this episode as well. But of course the main point was the turtles themselves. And when they first went into training and they did like sort of the widescreen thing, I don't know if it was because they went into widescreen and they just basically shrunk everything down, or if they really upped the animation, but it looked unbelievable. And it was crazy to see that. Like, it just looked really good, especially when they were making the fire. And that was probably the most simplistic thing they did. They were all just sitting there, and it was raining, but that's why it looked so amazing. It was just like, the detail of it looked really great. The scene where they were like on the rocks in front of the water, and the water was like right at the bottom of the screen, it looked really great to me. I thought the animation looked amazing. And like I said, it could have been the simple fact that they just did like the widescreen effect, because technically if it's not, the image isn't as big and you shrink it down, that instantly makes it look better. So it could have been that. It could have been the simple fact that they just upped the animation for that scene. But either way, it definitely looked different, and it looked unbelievable in that scene. And I love the training and stuff, and them just kind of figuring out things. And then when they got to the point where it's like, okay, we know what we really have to do, that's an episode just soared. Like, they had the alternate costumes, the alternate weapons. They all went and did their spirit training, and now they've come back. And I can't wait to see how they utilize this stuff when they get back to New York, because even though they did a lot of this, nature training and stuff, New York is the concrete jungle. Like, that's what it's called. Or that's, one of the names it has. And it's just going to be really different. So it'll be cool to see how they implement their, newfound connection with nature to, the concrete jungle where there aren't really too many trees and things like that. But it's definitely going to be cool. It was great to see Splinter, who sounded very different in this episode. I don't know if that was the same actor. There was a point early on last season I thought it was a different character too. It was the same voice actor, but he sounded really different. So I don't know if it's that same scenario, but he sounded really different. It could also be the fact that I haven't heard his voice in so long that I'm thinking it sounds like something else. So there are different things. Honestly, I think it was a different guy though. It could have, anything could have happened. It could just be a different character, a different guy playing Master Splinter. But it was great seeing him. I don't really know what's going to be happening. I know the next episode is Return to New York, and after that it's called Serpent Hunt. Serpent Hunt, I have to assume, is them going after Karai. And then, the next episode, I don't really know how crazy it's going to get, because the Krang have taken over New York. They're working with the Foot Clan. They may or may not be going up against each other at this point. I doubt they are, because it seems like it would be too soon to kind of just, have the Foot Clan going up against the Krang already. But I'm really excited for these next couple of episodes. I don't know if we're going to get another break. I really hope not, because it's Ninja Turtles. We've been getting breaks every time we get an episode. It's like, I honestly don't know if this is coming on next week. You never really know. So I do hope that it continues on for a while. Hopefully until the very end of the season. I kind of doubt that just because of how this show runs. But either way, I'm definitely looking forward to it. This was a great episode. Very good animation. Cool. Love the inclusion of the spirit realm and the turtles with the alternate costumes, alternate weapons, all that stuff. I think it was a great episode. It's like the perfect episode before going back to New York. Like, it couldn't, like, the only other episode that probably could have been the one right before New York would probably be the episode where they found the crane ship in the basement. That was probably my second favorite episode, of them being in the forest. And then the car episode was definitely pretty cool. And they've had some other good ones too. Like, there have been some great episodes, of them in the forest. But this is without a doubt, like, you can't get better than this before going back to New York. So I'm really excited. I love this episode. Of course, I want to know what you guys thought. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And of course, what do you guys want to see when they get back to New York? What's the first thing you want to have happen? Because for me, I would love it if they just found Splinter and then kind of just went, basically crazy and did like a full-on counterattack to take out the Krang and the Foot Clan. That, of course, isn't going to happen in their first episode back in New York City. But that would just be really cool, because I know we're going to get that at some point and it would look amazing. But that's what I want. But like I said, I want to know what you guys want to see in this next episode and the next couple of episodes, really. So please comment below, let me know. And thanks for watching.